Do you think Villa are genuine contenders then?
Of course they are. I don't think they'll win it. Actually, to be quite frank, Jeff, I don't think they'll win it. But I tell you what, I mean, I certainly didn't think Leicester would win it. So, of course, they're title contenders. Absolutely they're title contenders. As are Liverpool, Arsenal, Manchester City. After that, I'm not sure. But what a breath of fresh air Unai Emery and Villa have been. Fantastic.
Particularly on their own patch. 15 straight home
That's
Premier League wins.
amazing, that.
I
mean, that is absolutely
beyond
amazing.
belief. Now, look, one man who knows how to lift a trophy with Villa is their former captain, Andy Townsend. Of course, he twice won the League Cup with them. And Andy joins us now. Morning, Andy.
Morning, Andy.
Morning, Jeff. Ali, how we doing?
Brilliant, mate. How's your weekend, pal? Where were you?
Yep. I was at Villa against Arsenal on Saturday evening. And I was there, obviously, to see him against City in midweek and listening to everybody's comments there. They were it's the best Villa performance I've ever seen them play. I think whilst I've been analysing and watching football matches, I've never seen them play better.
Was that the best performance by any team in the Premier League this season, would you say, Andy?
It's the best I've seen, Jeff. I think they were, to a man, absolutely flawless. They really were. They were brilliant. And I don't think I've ever seen City be made to look that ordinary. And that's how good Villa were. So, yeah, they were brilliant against them. Now, of course, going into the one at the weekend, it was all about could they repeat that? I think that was always going to be a huge ask to go and produce something very similar to that. They didn't. They had to tough it out the weekend. They weren't great against Arsenal, to be honest. Yeah. Arsenal probably had the best of it, but they got over the line, and that's another lovely quality to have. You know, it really is.
Andy, do you know what we've not spoken about this morning? And it's probably a little bit poor because we should have spoken about that particular game. Where are you on the Havertz disallowed goal, mate? Right, yeah. So I tell you where I'm good. Before I allow you to answer it, if you allow me my 30 seconds, I actually think it's very harsh. I really, really do. I think it possibly hits Matty Cash's arm as well as Havertz. So we're going down the territory if it's okay to hit somebody's hand, but it's not okay to hit somebody else's hand. I thought it was harsh.
I'm with you, mate. I am. I think that you know, when you're starting to have when you're looking for reasons to disallow it like that, and the ball was bobbling around, no one knew where it was. There was no intent to touch it, to handle it. They were, you know, it was just one of those situations, and I personally felt that goal should stand. I really do. We shouldn't be trying to scrub them off. But look, that's the current directives. That's the rules as we stand, and so you have to live with it. And Arsenal never quite stitched it together at the top of the field. They just couldn't quite find that final pass, that little bit of cutting edge that usually they're able to produce, and that's, I think, why Villa managed to see it out.
The Conference League's a bit of a fly in the ointment, isn't it, Andy? Now, I mean, Villa probably at this stage would rather do without it.
Yeah, probably. Do you know, Jeff? I think that for the Villa boys, this is new territory right now. You know, they've had some tough years there recently, and Unai Emery coming in, since he's come in, it's just been like lift off, take off. I went and saw John McGinn before the City game at Villa's training ground, and he said, you know, the attention to detail, the level of fine detail that he's going through to prepare the players for matches, and talking about the opponents, he said everybody really loves it. I mean, I said to him, I said I'd have been asleep at the back of the room after about half hour in our days, but if they go on for like an hour and a half, Ali, you know, these meetings, Jeff, and they go right into every last detail to get them ready for whoever they're playing against, and I think they're just really loving it. I think they look like they're loving it.
Andy, I actually think they've got a realist. I really believe it. I think they could win that European competition. I really do.
Oh, they could. Listen, they're ready to win something. They are absolutely ready to win something. Now, what that is, how it is, I don't know, but I'm just loving the fact that Villa Park's absolutely jumping, and everybody's up for it, and the players are responding. The players are showing no signs of any genuine fear in their play. They're going for it. It's not going to be easy. The next one, Brentford away, that ain't easy. Then it's Sheffield United at home. They're all tough, but they're showing great resilience and great quality when it matters so far.
It would be great for the Premier League, wouldn't it? I mean, I know fans of Manchester City and Liverpool won't agree, but it would be great for the Premier League, for all the neutrals anyway, if Villa were to win the title.
Yeah, absolutely right. Jeff, quick question. If Grant Shapps started telling Pep whether to play a 3 or a 4, would you tell him to stick to politics?
And I've got to say to you, Paul from Wakefields just messaged in and he's told me to stick to politics.
I'll tell you what, there's another one here as well, Andy. It comes from Rob, who says, Jeff and Ali, you won't read this as you never read anything negative that doesn't... I'm not reading this. No.
Brilliant.
What about Chelsea, Andy? I mean, another terrible week for them.
I mean, look, Chelsea's it's a bit of a tough watch, really. It must be for the ardent Chelsea fan at the moment, because you just don't really know what's going to happen. Look, I mean, they've spent all this money. They've got good coaching. There's some talent there, but at the moment, that's about it for me. They haven't really got anything, I don't think, substantial to fall back on when it don't quite happen, when it doesn't quite work. And I don't see that changing for a while yet. I think it's going to be some time. I'm not sure half of the players that they brought in are actually good enough. We talk about some of the young boys, and because big money is spent on them, and we assume and we believe that everything's going to turn out well. I ain't totally convinced about some of those that have come
Andy,
in.
I think there's a softness about them. I looked at the two boys in the middle of the park, man, and you've spent nearly £250 million. I think you're looking for more, mate.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I do, and look, the big teams, the best teams, have genuine big hitters in their teams, don't they? They do. They have players of repute, renown, of international class and quality, and players that can handle when it ain't going quite so well. They can step up, and that's what Chelsea don't really have. They haven't got enough of them, and I think it's going to be a up and down. I'm afraid for a bit longer yet before they really start to get it going.
TalkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the TalkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. TalkSPORT.